Morning world, what's poppin'? BOOBANG, man, back with another session. Talking about a new topic, man, on the BOOBANG theory. So appreciate anybody who stumbled up on this video. Appreciate you taking time out to watch it. Hopefully you'll get something out of it. Hopefully I can help somebody share some more, get this information shared. So let's jump into it, man. This is the first session on the virus. Let's get this shit popping. So I'm pretty sure everybody know basically where this virus supposedly had come from, which is China, Wuhan, China. Wuhan, China is the largest city in central China. Okay? Big game. So I wanted to be able to go back and look at where this shit started from, where it actually came from. And we know, like I said, it come from China, but we didn't really know, the news ain't really giving us where this shit actually come from, right? So supposedly it had come from Wuhan, China, a seafood market. Okay, so let me give you some shit I just came across, man. Some good information, right? So like I said, they saying it's coming from Wuhan, China. In the seafood market, it come from some kind of type of animals that was sold there, and that's how the virus transferred, right? Which is actually false, though, So big game. First thing happened in Wuhan, China. The Wuhan Health Commission caught on to this supposedly virus. At first they was calling it pneumonia, right? Didn't nobody know about this. So this is the Wuhan Health Commission caught notice of this and then gave an internal notice. You know what I mean? So they went and gave an internal notice that there was a occurrence of some type of pneumonia cases in the seafood market. And this was on December the 30th, 2019. So this internal notice was to all of the health facilities that's in China. So supposedly anybody who hear of any of these cases, these new pneumonia cases, let us know. In other words, let us know if y'all come across these cases. So the notice required all institutions to report all similar cases of unknown pneumonia. This notice spread online, okay? So evidently, this notice that he gave internal was shared, and people were sharing it, and it ended up, going online, and other people start seeing it. So China had no other choice, but to go ahead and give a public notice. So the Wuhan Health Commission issued a public notice that they found a link in the pneumonia cases in the Hunan seafood market. There was no evidence, or what they said is, they found that it was a link to the Hunan seafood market, right? But they said there was no evidence of this virus being able to transfer or transmission human to human, So, they were saying basically it couldn't be spread at the time. Okay? So then you gotta check that. January 1st, 2020, the Hunan seafood market was shut down. They gave notice of shutting their market down. This is in January 1st, 2020, right? So basically, China's government shut down the Hunan seafood market. Then they said they went in and raided the place, cleaned it all up. I mean, like, everything that was in there was clean. They said it was so fucking thoroughly clean when they went in there to see it. And it happened like the day after they shut down, they just went in there and cleaned and wiped out everything. Basically, they said it was just like going and clearing out a crime scene. And they said it was kind of, the journalist, the investigating journalist was saying that he was, wondering why they wanted to clear out and clean this place up so quickly. Like they was trying to cover their tracks up. They trying to, so nobody can go and investigate and actually get information on if these diseases came from some type of animal that was in this place. So they wiped out cleaned out all the food, all the animals. I'm talking about, they said they went and sprayed and shit, cleaned up everything, so it couldn't go, no virologist or nobody, no scientists could go in there and try to, get evidence and see where this actually came from. So, let me see. Yeah, the investigating reporter said that they seemed to rush this cleanup job. It was a thorough cleanup job, and it was like destroying the crime scene. January 26, 2020. China's Institute of Virology, CDC, announced that 33 of the 585 samples of the Hunan seafood market was found to contain a coronavirus. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Out of 585 samples, these is people that was considered infected with this virus at this particular time. This is in January 2020, January 26. Out of 585 samples that was collected, 33 out of them contained a coronavirus. So 33 people had something different than what they was trying to say was going on. 33 people had this coronavirus and were supposedly isolated from the rest of, the 585 people, which would be, 552 people. So, then they said, suggesting, this is China Institute of Virology, China CDC, said that suggesting that the virus originated from wild animals sold at the Wuhan seafood market. So, this is what's been going on around on all the news stations. This is the story everybody got. This is the story we all got. Even I got it, you know what I'm saying? And I had to go back and start, I went through so many different videos and listened to some different scientists and different virologists and different chemists and different, types of doctors, that's been doing their research on this shit, doing search and research on all the studies of what's been going on. And the shit ain't adding up to them, right? And all the videos I've been listening to, like, damn, okay, so they said this shit come from some animals that somebody bought supposedly in the seafood market. Guess they ate the food or whatever and got contaminated or got affected with the virus. And this is 33 people. Now let me break some more shit down to you. Hopefully this video, this camera go long enough, and then if not, I'll just come back to the second session and hook y'all with some more of this information. But like I said, most people know this part of what I'm telling you already, right? Maybe not about the China Institute of Virology announcing that 33 people out of 585 samples, contained a coronavirus and was supposedly isolated from the rest, right? Then it come from a seafood market. Here go another study. Somebody else did this study and published this study around the same time as China's CDC was publishing theirs. Out of 41 cases, 14 was found unrelated to the seafood market. Out of Lansing paper that was published around the same time, like I said, and I think I might have today, I'm about to flip this paper, but out of 41 cases, 14 was unrelated to the seafood market. Okay, so this is 41 cases. And this is a totally different study from somebody else outside of the 585 cases, right? So that means this stuff is spreading around China at this point. Days later, a report from the journal Science challenged the story that the CDC had put out, basically saying they don't believe that this virus was transmitted or affected people through meat that was bought at the seafood market. Okay, so now it's already questions going on in China, but wait, they still on a local news channels and the national news stage. They telling us this story though about this meat. This contaminated meat is what caused this virus. I'm about to break some shit down that I didn't know either, and the shit gets so fucking deep. Like some of the shit is not understandable. So I advise some of y'all to pull dictionaries out of shit, because that's what the fuck I had to do. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck is this and that? And, you know, these doctor terms, these virologist terms. You know, some shit the motherfuckers ain't heard before. Some shit, you know, and it's all got to do with the body, right? Okay. January 29th. A company or a study was done from Lansing, might be pronouncing the name wrong, but published a paper on 99 confirmed cases. 99 confirmed cases at one China's hospital. It was, the hospital name is like Yun Hu Tide or something like that. Yu Hun Tide, you know, some Chinese name, and I can't pronounce the shit, so I'm just like, you know, the last part of it is Tide. So look up Tide Hospital in motherfucking China. 99 cases confirmed at this hospital, right? 50 had no history. These is 50 cases out of the 99 from this hospital. 50 cases had no history of being around or being in contact with the seafood market. So now this is a whole nother different paper. I mean, I think Lansing was one of the first ones who published this story. And now you got the Lansing paper challenging this. You got the Journal of Science challenging this story from the CDC, China CDC, saying that this don't look like they came from no motherfucking animals that was in the seafood market. This virus ain't supposed to do certain things, right? And I'm gonna get to that too. I ain't gonna try to jump into it too quick, because I want y'all to understand on a breakdown how all this shit occurred and where we are to this day, right? So January 29th, Lancet published a paper on 99 confirmed cases at the China's Tide Hospital. 50 of the cases had no history of the seafood market. Then you got the New England Journal had a study. New England Journal said 425 cases confirmed, 45 cases had no history or exposure to the seafood market. These are all medical experts, right? These doing these studies from China, who wrote these papers. These are all published papers in China. You can go back and look at all these names that I'm spelling out to y'all. The Journal of Science, Lancet paper, the New England Journal. All these you can just Google them. And this shit is in black and white. This ain't shit that I'm making up or I heard somebody else talking about. I did hear somebody discussing this. These was the investigating journalists and some of these virologists and scientists who's been doing the research on this same shit that we talking about, right? So go back and look. All this shit is in black and white. Do your own research. You ain't gotta, believe me. I'm just bringing this shit to you in a breakdown so we can all understand it for motherfuckers who like me that come from the fucking hood and we ain't into all that science shit and all that. We ain't really worried about, but this is some shit that we need to start worrying about because it's a whole bunch of lies in that motherfucking local and national news that's broadcasting this bullshit, right? Okay, so like I said, out of 425 cases confirmed, 45 of these cases had no history or no exposure to the seafood market. And like I said, these were all papers done by medical experts out of China. All right, so let's move on. So basically the virus didn't come out the seafood market. 30% of the cases was not related. 30% of these cases was not related to the seafood market. Out of all these cases, out of the 99, out of the 425, out of the 585, out of the 45, all those different studies, out of all those combined, and it probably was, I'm pretty sure it was more, 30% of all those cases was not related to the seafood market. So how does that explain? Where are all the fucking other cases coming from? They can't, and I would believe that their argument would be, well, it was a spread, or it was getting transmitted from this person to that person, which at first, and then if they want to argue that, if they want to have, let that be their argument, then you got to go back to say, okay, that published paper with the CDC in China said that it was no evidence of spread, human spread. So that would contradict them right there. So something ain't right. Check out. January 10th, China released a full document of the genome sequence of the Wuhan novel of coronaviruses. Let me repeat that. China released a full page or a full document of the genome sequence. The genome sequence. Go look that shit up. Genome sequence of the Wuhan novel of coronaviruses. So basically, this was studies done in China about the genome code of all these coronaviruses and how they work and what they contain, right? And if I had the video up to show you, it shows all these different viruses, you know what I mean, and how they work, and it tells you everything about them. So this, like I said, it got different coronas. It's different coronaviruses, right? So these were all analyzed by many of the world's top virologists. So all these motherfuckers went back and looked at these papers that China CDC them put out, showing that all the different differences in all the different bad coronaviruses. So they all did the studies. They went back and started studying these papers, and they came to a conclusion that this coronavirus that we are experiencing right now has similarities to some of these old coronaviruses. I know, okay, whatever. We know that. Y'all probably saying, okay, yeah, we know it's old coronavirus. We know it's a lot of different coronaviruses, and so what does that mean? Let me explain. A paper was published February 3rd by the National Institute of Communicable Disease Control and Prevention by John Yoon Chen and the School of Public Health at Funan University. I'm gonna say that again. February 3rd, a paper was published by the National Institute of Communicable Disease Control and Prevention by John Young Chen in the School of Public Health at Funan University in China. The conclusion they came up with, the Wuhan coronavirus is closely related to two bat viruses that already exist. So they compared these viruses to the virus, that like I said, we currently experiencing. So they went back and compared this virus that we experiencing with the genomes in the other pattern, in the other viruses. They came to the conclusion that this virus, this new Wuhan coronavirus, was closely related to two viruses. One of the coronavirus was CoV-ZC45, and the other one was CoV-ZXC21. These two viruses were sampled from bat viruses. Let me repeat that. The Wuhan coronavirus is closely related to two of the bat coronaviruses. One of them is CoV-ZC45, and the other CoV is COVID-ZXC21. So it's like CoV-ZC45, and the other one is CoV-ZXC21. And these are known to be bat viruses. The Wuhan, check what they say. The Wuhan coronavirus has 89.1% similarity with the CoV-ZC45 and exhibits 100% amino acid similarity in the NSP7 and E proteins. So like I said, if you're not a virologist or you don't study these type of the immune system and infectious diseases, then you might not know some of this shit like I did. So I had to go back and get a dictionary and Google this shit. The Wuhan coronavirus has an 89.1% similarity with the CoV-ZC45 and exhibits 100% amino acid similarity in the NSP7 and E proteins. Hold up. Just want to make sure I'm still recording. Okay. So these are all SARS viruses. These are all coronavirus, bat coronaviruses, all SARS. All right. So let me I want y'all to hear this because I'm gonna come back with some more of this shit because I want to break some more shit down. I got a whole bunch of shit I got wrote down that I want to discuss, but I want y'all to hear this little short clip of this lady, this doctor, this virologist called Judy Mikovits. And I'm talking more about her because she got a lot of shit, man. She on their ass right now.
In fact, this is the second book we've written. The first one was called Plague, and this is about our groundbreaking discovery.
Listen to this real quick. Check.
They don't want you to know this information. In fact, this is the second book we've written. The first one was called Plague, and this is about literally about our groundbreaking discoveries of mouse cancer-causing viruses, the publication in a journal Science. And when it became clear that of the number of strains of these mouse cancer-causing and neuroimmune disease-causing viruses that had entered the human virome by way of a contaminated blood supply and contaminated vaccines with lots of animal tissues and lots of different viruses, they needed to shut this down because, of course, this is exactly what happened. What is, COVID-19, a coronavirus that entered the human virome in a way that wasn't natural. That is not a natural evolution of a virus that's being sold as anything but. So when the data became clear that the virus, this virus it was in the human virome by a contaminated blood supply that could have been contaminated for 30 years, 25 times more people were infected than in HIV/AIDS at the height of HIV in this country in 1991. So as the data emerged that likely these mouse viruses got into humans by way of contaminated vaccines, then of course the hammer began to fall where publications were published, and I was told to deny the data, to misrepresent the data, to throw the data away, and when I refused to do so, I was fired. My lab was locked down on September 29th, and 2 offices and my entire 30-year career and everything, my notebooks, everything was confiscated. Then I'm arrested at the door with no warrant, as I'm surrounded by police cars. My house is, the water has the harbor patrol in it, there's no warrant. My husband's pushed into a chair. They search my entire house. They take me away in foot shackles and hand shackles in front of the entire neighborhood, who all said they knew something was going on because of the amount of force that was used. I was held in jail for 5 days in Ventura County without bail, on a bail hold, without the possibility, never